When Trump in 2020 was championing these vaccines that were coming so quick, what did the left say? And I'm talking about every member of the left. Don't trust the vaccine. Don't get the vaccine. You're going to die from the vaccine. And then what happened? Biden wins and everything flips. Shouldn't that initially give you a little bit of pause and go, hold on a second?
What the hell is going on in the NFL this week? I mean, from the Henry Ruggs tragedy, where one of the most promising young wide receivers in the NFL got involved in a DUI that resulted in death, all the way to the Odell Beckham situation, where one of the most electric wide receivers and one of the most notable names in the NFL was excused from Cleveland Browns practice for 2 days before finally getting released last night, which, by the way, we made a video at like 3 a.m. Eastern time to drop the moment he got released, about 7 hours before Rap Sheet and Schefter reported it, by the way.
We the best.
Which brings us all the way to the Aaron Rodgers situation, where this man, instead of deciding to stay quiet and just letting things blow over, he went on the Pat McAfee show and spoke his mind. So we have a lot to cover here, man. So before we get to the content, this is our third video in like a 24-hour span for like the third day in a row. So do me a favor and sack the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Consider subscribing and turning on our notifications. And if you happen to know a guy that gives really bad takes, you can go ahead and buy him a casual hoodie or t-shirt on microphone.org. I want to give a shout out to all those that tipped me off on the situation on my Instagram and on my Twitter account. And now that we get all that out of the way, break! So before we get to today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys my weekly picks for week 9 via this video sponsor, Bounty Sports, which is my favorite daily fantasy sports platform because it's really freaking easy to use, man, and they have really good contests for you to enter. For example, I'm going to be entering this $5 contest, which will give me a chance to win almost $1,800 in total prizes. Okay, man, this is going to be really freaking easy, all right? Atlanta is going up against the New Orleans Saints. Trevor Simeon looks like the real deal. I love the Saints wide receiver core. It's super deep. They have a former number 7 overall pick in Kevin White over there, and he's a great story. So we're going to get emotional with this decision and go Saints. New England Patriots versus the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers have been kind of on a cold streak, and I really don't want to bet against Bill Belichick going up against a team that is kind of slipping lately. So we're going to go Patriots. Cleveland Browns versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Browns are in some drama currently, which means Baker Mayfield's considered to be an underdog currently. He might want to come out and prove everyone wrong. We're going Cleveland here. Minnesota Vikings versus the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, this one's an easy one. I don't even need to give you that analysis, man. The Vikings lost to a team with a backup QB last week. Denver Broncos versus the Dallas Cowboys. I'm never going to say the Cowboys are going to lose, bro. We're the best team in the freaking world. The Houston Texans versus the Miami Dolphins. This is going to be tough because both teams, with all due respect, stink. But the Miami Dolphins weren't supposed to stink, so we're going to go with the Dolphins. The Raiders versus the Giants. The Raiders have been going through a lot lately. We made multiple videos on that, but they've done a good job responding to adversity so far. So we're going to go Las Vegas. The Buffalo Bills versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going Bills, man. Come on. The LA Chargers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. No analysis needed there. The Green Bay Packers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, you guys are going to think I'm an absolute dumbass for this pick, but you got to get a little bold in these, and I actually think Jordan Love is going to come out and surprise a lot of us, so we're going to go Green Bay. Then we have the Arizona Cardinals versus the San Francisco 49ers. The Arizona Cardinals were undefeated up until they faced off against the Green Bay Packers. They're actually favored in this matchup, but not by much. I don't know, man. I think I'm going to go San Francisco 49ers here. As our Sunday night football game, I have to go with the LA Rams here. So if you want to enter in this contest for free and try to potentially beat me in this contest, all you have to do is use promo code Mikerophone for a $5 deposit. And maybe you'll be able to turn that $5 into $1,800. So thank you, Bounty Sports, for the sponsor. And let's get to today's video.
Are you vaccinated, and what's your stance on vaccinations?
Yeah, I've been immunized. You know, there's a lot of conversation around it, around the league, and a lot of guys who have made statements and I've made statements, owners who made statements. You know, there's guys on the team that haven't been vaccinated. I think it's a personal decision. I'm not going to judge those guys. There's guys who have been vaccinated that have contracted COVID. So it's an interesting issue that I think we're going to see played out the entire season.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? I want to open this video by saying I don't really have a horse in this race. There's stuff that Aaron Rodgers said that I do agree with, and there's stuff that he said that's a little bit more controversial that I personally don't agree with. I appreciate the man's talent, but even more so, I really appreciate Aaron Rodgers for coming out and speaking his mind. I see way too many media dummies in the NFL and in any sport and in any genre in today's day and age, and rather doing what a media trained professional was supposed to do in Aaron Rodgers' situation, which is stay quiet after a bunch of people might be upset at the fact that he claimed that he was immunized, but in reality, he never really got vaccinated. He went on the Pat McAfee show and completely spoke his mind for 40 minutes straight. Now, I want to open this up by saying I have so much love and respect for Pat McAfee as a reporter and as a content creator. I think he does a remarkable job making these athletes that typically feel like reporters are trying to screw them over, making them feel comfortable enough to be themselves and speak their mind. So make sure you check out his show. We're going to be ripping a decent amount of his interview that was 45 minutes long with Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to be featuring it in this video. So Aaron comes out and starts off the entire interview with an absolute bang by saying that he is currently in the crosshairs of the woke mob right now.
I realize I'm in the crosshairs of the woke mob right now. So before my final nail gets put in my cancel culture casket, I think I'd like to set the record straight on so many of the blatant lies that are out there about myself right now. First of all, I didn't lie in the initial press conference. During that time, it was a very, witch hunt that was going on across the league, where everybody in the media was so concerned about who was vaccinated and who wasn't, and what that meant, and who was being selfish, and who would talk about it.
Now, you have to understand, the reason why Aaron Rodgers is upset in this situation isn't necessarily because he is being forced to be vaccinated. Rather, he seems to be very upset that his vaccination status got put out there.
What it meant if they said it's a personal decision, they shouldn't have to disclose their own medical information and whatnot.
It's something that he originally wanted to remain private, and to be honest, it's something that could have continued to remain private even though he tested positive for COVID. I know many people that got the vaccine and still tested positive for COVID. Now, what's crazy about this is he kind of takes an indirect jab at Kyrie Irving by saying that he's not a flat earther that is anti-vax for no reason.
With this, I would have said, look, I'm not some sort of anti-vax flat earther. I am somebody who's a critical thinker. You guys know me. I march to the beat of my own drum. I believe strongly in bodily autonomy and the ability to make choices for your body, not to have to acquiesce to some woke culture or crazed, group of individuals who say you have to do something. Health is not a one-size-fits-all for everybody.
Which I thought was really funny because there have been some people drawing parallels between Aaron Rodgers and Kyrie Irving, saying which person's worse, and I'm not going to get into that. Aaron then explains that he has an allergy to an ingredient in the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine, and Johnson & Johnson was the only option for him.
It was simply the fact that I have an allergy to an ingredient that's in the mRNA vaccines. So on the CDC's own website, it says, should you have an allergy to any of the ingredients, you should not get one of the mRNA vaccines. So those two were out already. So my only option was Johnson & Johnson. At this time, in the early spring, I had heard of multiple people who had adverse events around getting the J&J. Then in mid-April, the J&J shot got pulled for clotting issues, if you remember that, right? Then my options became, okay, what can I do to protect myself and my teammates if there's not one of the big three options for me in my own body? And so I looked into and talked again to a lot of medical individuals and professionals, and found that there was an immunization protocol that I could go to best protect myself and my teammates.
Now Aaron Rodgers is stating that he's in this situation where he can't take the vaccine because it will physically harm him, but he needs to take the vaccine because otherwise he's going to get scrutinized and targeted by the woke mob and cancel culture and all of that. He then told us that he went ahead and decided to talk to one of the world's leading doctors.
I consulted with a now good friend of mine, Joe Rogan, after he got COVID, and I've been doing a lot of the stuff that he recommended in his podcasts and, on the phone to me. And I'm going to have the best immunity possible now, based on the 2.5 million person study from Israel, that the people who get COVID and recover have the most robust immunity. And I'm thankful for people like Joe stepping up and using their voice. I'm thankful for my medical squad, and I'm thankful for all the love and support I've gotten. But I've been taking monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, zinc, vitamin C and D, HCQ, and I feel pretty incredible.
Which, look, man, I love the Joe Rogan podcast. I love Joe Rogan. I think he's an awesome guy. And I say this repetitively, Joe Rogan isn't a doctor. You know, if he's promoting the use of ivermectin and stuff like that, yeah, it might work for some people. I didn't do enough studying on this because, to be honest, I just got the vaccine, and I just believe in not pushing the vaccine on other people. Every person can make their own health decisions. But I don't like when people get upset at Joe Rogan for promoting the usage of ivermectin, because you should go into his podcast understanding that Joe Rogan is not a doctor. He's just an everyday guy that is into sport and finds these substances that he takes to be interesting. He's known to use things like HGH, which causes his palumboism. MorePlatesMoreDates.com has a great video on that. He's known for taking peptides and doing PRP and all this other stuff, which there's no problem with that, but that's Joe's decision. He decides to take those things, and he talks about those things that he takes on his podcast. So if Aaron Rodgers wants to take the word of Joe Rogan as if it's like some good medical advice, that's his decision. If he wants to take the vaccine, that's also his decision. But it seems like at this point, it's really not in his hands. He really can't take it. It sounds like it could actually kill him. But then this is where it gets really interesting. Aaron says that the problem with this vaccination situation is that it's too political.
The problem with this is it is so political, and health should not be political. It shouldn't be that, you know, Trump endorsed ivermectin and HCQ, and so take that shit off, it doesn't work, you know? I mean, in general, I think we all should have been a little hesitant. When Trump in 2020 was championing these vaccines that were coming so quick, what did the left say? And I'm talking about every member of the left. Don't trust the vaccine, don't get the vaccine, you're gonna die from the vaccine. And then what happened? Biden wins and everything flips. Shouldn't that initially give you a little bit of pause and go, hold on a second. Isn't this shit about health and not about like politics? And to that point, has any member of the health staff this entire time got up and actually talked about real health? Have they talked about exercise, a healthy diet, like eating real food, drinking water, taking vitamins, vitamin D deficiency and what that causes in the body? No, there hasn't been any of that. Look, I'm going to critically think about what's best for my own health.
Aaron Rodgers continues to say that the right is going to champion me and the left is going to cancel me. I don't give a shit about either of them. Politics is a total sham. I'm not going on Fox News, just like I'm not going on CNN. I think out of everything Aaron Rodgers said in this entire interview, that is my favorite thing he's ever said. Like 100%. The right is probably going to take this and say Aaron Rodgers is team right, and the left is going to say, oh, Aaron Rodgers is a horrible, selfish pig for not getting the vaccine. But no matter what, they're going to take narratives and twist them and distort them just so it could fit their own agenda, and politics are a total sham. It doesn't matter who's in office. I truly believe that the president of the United States is going to lie to you no matter who he is. There's already plenty of pieces on Trump as a president, but all my buddies that were really excited about Joe Biden being president were really hyped about the possibility of them getting their horrible student loan debt forgiven, and I don't know, he hasn't done anything about that. And I'm not saying that I'm on one side or the other. I'm saying that whoever's in office is going to lie to you. All politicians lie. I really hope people could accept that. I think that's my favorite thing that Aaron Rodgers said in this entire interview. Now, I think the final point he made is the situation I'm in should be a conversation and not a controversy. I've made a decision on what's best for my body. I'm here to continue the conversation. He also added that he's excited for Jordan Love, who will get to start on Sunday, and he's going to give him as much advice as possible. Now, this is just a tiny little smidgen of a huge interview that was like 45 minutes long, conducted on the Pat McAfee show. And to be honest, look, there are some parts about this that I agreed with Aaron Rodgers on. There's some parts that I wasn't 100% for, but I'm not in his situation. I still love the guy, and I actually even respect him more for coming out and speaking his mind, not being afraid of how he's going to pour gasoline over this situation and make it bigger. I have tremendous respect for Aaron Rodgers and Pat McAfee for conducting this interview, and it should be interesting to see the results of this entire situation. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this interview, man. It was absolutely nuts to wake up to this, and aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.